My name is Frank Ukpetenan. I'm Nigerian, uh, originally Nigerian, I would say, right? I was born in Nigeria, and right now I are senior supply chain project management specialist with Honeywell in Urbana, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
USA.
Yeah,
That's a brief introduction, I would say.
thank you. And why did you decide to do your master's in Aberdeen?
So sometime in around 2010, 2011, I was working in FMCG, fast moving consumer goods
Mm-hmm.
industry as a sales operations personnel. And I wanted to go back into the oil and gas industry, having, acquired a degree in mechanical engineering, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I researched courses and decided I settled on safety and reliability engineering in the University of Aberdeen, and it
Mm-hmm.
turned out to be really good. So that's why I decided to go there. And the primary motivation was to get back into oil and gas because I wanted to leave the FMCG industry,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting. And what are some of your favorite memories from Aberdeen? Maybe from like social life of it, maybe some societies you joined.
Oh yeah, I would say when the weather was good, which
Yeah.
is almost rarely, right? When the weather was good, we always used to play soccer behind because I lived in Hillhead,
Yeah. Okay,
Hillhead
nice. Nice.
campus. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we always used to play soccer behind Hillhead, and it was always fun. And sometime around before I left, before I graduated, I had we had toured several castles around the
Mm-hmm.
city, the
Okay.
Balmoral.
Yeah.
There were several. There were about three of them. We had to take a bus and
Yeah.
go around them. I can't remember the name of the other one. Then we climbed the Benachi Mountain. I don't know if you know
Okay.
that place.
Yeah, yeah. Benahi.
Benahir Mountain. That was lovely. We went up there, had a picnic up there, and it was fun. Those were fun memories, apart from the academics, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's that's very lovely. And you work in across multiple industries, and if you had to summarize your career, yes, what would be key milestones in it?
So I would say, moving from oil and gas, after I left Aberdeen, I went back to Nigeria and actually, successfully joined an oil and gas firm, right? So I was applying my oil and gas. I was in the oil and gas trade, as a logistics specialist.
Hmm.
Maybe the biggest milestone I would say was I started as a contract engineer over there, right? And somehow my general manager and the CEO identified some skills, that I was displaying, and they, prepared me to become the operations manager of this firm, right? And
Hmm.
until now, that's been my greatest milestone. And initially, it was shocking, and but after some time, with quick learning and fast, you know, understanding of the business, I quickly,
Hmm.
was able to get into it and, did very well. I
Yeah,
think that would say that's been my greatest milestone in my career so far.
yeah. And you've held roles in Nigeria, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and now Ohio. What have you learned about adapting to new work environments and cultures?
I would say, the biases and
Hmm.
they're almost natural to everyone, right? So when you move across cultures, you
Hmm.
you a lot of it will depend on how you navigate those biases, right? And so what I've learned is that when you build competence, when you're good at what you do,
Yeah.
it's very it reduces how bias plays in your career, right? When you're good at what you
Hmm.
do, you are able to relate with management, you're able to deliver on the assignments and the projects that you are given very well. you know it's about the best thing that happens. That's cuts across every culture. Competence, integrity, the ability to do the job go far and above the job that you have been assigned, right? Those things cause across
Yeah.
cultures. Everyone wants integrity. Everyone wants a competent staff and all that. So that's what I've learned so far.
And what was your proudest moment or the project you worked on that you this like very close to your heart maybe or was very significant for you?
So um, a lot of it is proprietary, in that I cannot really say much about the exact project, right?
Of
But
course.
the beauty of some of these things is that some of the projects I've worked on is you initially things just start on paper, right? Stuff starts on paper, planning, discussions, and then you see these things come to life, as a real product, as an engine or as a, you know, that's how much I can say, right? As an engine that you're gonna put in another, you're gonna put in an airplane, or you're going to, or as a part that you're going to deploy on, offshore, from design to sourcing the parts, to deliberating on it, on all the regulatory materials. The most interesting thing is just seeing it go from paper to products to actual life. But it may take years, sometimes, but it's always beautiful to see it come to life, and
Yeah.
it's been deployed and used, right? That's about the most
Yeah.
beautiful thing.
And how does your typical day looks like right now? What do you do?
So right now, my responsibility is to manage projects in supply chain,
Mm-hmm.
where from we have discussions with engineers and designers, we deliberate on how to improve maybe an engine,
Mm-hmm.
and we the engineers, the actual engineers design the parts that should go to this engine, and the project comes to us as supply chain for us to source for, suppliers and um, other engineers who can work these parts and actually make this engine, right? So
Yeah.
basically, it goes from meetings to calculations to deliberations, phone calls. That's what my typical day looks like. The
Mm-hmm.
meetings, deliberations, phone calls, emails, drawing plans, project management. That's what my typical day looks like right now.
And based on your very impressive experience, what skills do you think are the most important for students interested in operations and logistics?
Um, the biggest skill I would say, right, is you have to be open to learning,
Mm-hmm.
right, and be fast at it, right. A lot of the time, for example, my study in Aberdeen, right,
Yeah.
I may have studied safety and reliability engineering, but I'm not directly applying that. But in every environment you find yourself, right, you must be very willing to learn and be very quick with learning whatever it is that's been done in that environment. That's to me, that's the biggest skill you need,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the ability to learn and the ability to learn very fast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I'm sure even for you, in your environment right now, you have had to learn some things really fast,
Yeah.
so that you don't come in every day looking like a novice, right?
Yeah.
Within the first month, you should be able to, describe what's to be done on certain projects and, certain job
Yeah.
roles.
Yeah. And you also certified in Lean Six Sigma, PMP, and Blue Ocean Strategy. How are this? Why did you do this certifications, and are they helpful for you?
So I would say, yeah, yeah, very helpful. Especially with the project management certification and Lean Six Six. The thing with these things is that they just help you get better at your job, right? And the better you get at your job, the more competent you become. Okay. And no knowledge is lost ever,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you learn something, you may not apply it immediately, but over the course of your career, you find that you might call them up, and use them in certain scenarios, right? And so the reason why I did them was because I needed to know what they're about, and I needed to apply them in my job to help me get better at it. And they've been useful, very useful, especially with projects.
Yeah, interesting, interesting. And so, yeah, are there any books or podcasts you would recommend for our students? It might be something career or non-career related. Maybe some books are like inspiring or motivate you.
So recently, I tend to read a lot of biographies,
Hmm.
you know, autobiographies or ones written on behalf of the character. And one very good book I would recommend is Shoe Dog by Phil
Hmm.
Knight. I don't know if you know about it.
Yeah, yeah, of
Uh,
course.
it's a really good book. I love that book. And recently, uh, Phil Knight is the founder of Nike, right? So it's a really good book. There are no pretenses in that book. It tells you what he did when he was young, and he wrote it around the time, when he was young as well, right? Or the book describes his business from when he was young. So it's very good for young people. Also, there's a book by the former CEO of Pepsi,
Hmm.
Indira Nooyi, the lady.
Yeah,
I think the book is titled My Life in Full. I recently read that. That's a really good book. With respect to podcasts, right? I would say he's a British guy as well. Sean Bartlett. I don't know if you
yeah,
know him.
yeah, yeah, I know
Yeah,
him.
so his podcast is The Diary of a CEO,
Yes, he's a very popular
DOAC.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah, so I find that I've been drawn a lot to that podcast recently because he's interviewing like a wide range of people, very knowledgeable people. They're sharing a really good knowledge, and as go to school or get into your career, you will need all that knowledge, to get a footing. Yeah.
yeah. Interesting. And thank you for your advice. And would you say networking is important in your industry? And if yes, how can students like benefit from networking? How they can network?
With respect to networking, I would say uh that's very important, right?
Yeah.
But you find that even as you're in school now, doing maybe like internship, you find that the friends you make in school,
Mm-hmm.
right, very important. Those are the ones you're going to carry for like lifetime, okay?
Yes.
And it's important that while you're there, you join like societies, you contribute to those societies that help to develop students. They don't have to be expensive, things you do, like when I told you that we went to castles around, Aberdeen, right? We went as a group, right? So you could do
Mm-hmm.
group things like that. That helps with networking because by the time you leave school and you go into the career, going to working life or business, you find that those friends you've made in school, those are the most important ones you carry through life. Those are the ones who are gonna send you recommendations. They're gonna share ideas with you. They're going to basically speak about you in places, about what you do and what you've achieved.
Yeah.
So networking is very, very important. And I'll give an example, right? The when I first moved here to the US, one of the first jobs I got, when I worked with Halliburton, it's a friend from my undergraduate days who sent me the recommendation, right? So if maybe I didn't network, we weren't friends, or I didn't know him, that wouldn't have come my way. So I would say networking is very, very important.
Mm-hmm. That's a great advice. And the last question is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Hmm. That's a good one. I would say maybe take risk
Mm-hmm.
quicker. So take risk quicker. Um, don't be scared of going for things that are in your mind. Don't think about things too much, right? If you have stuff in your mind, you're thinking about, hey, you want to get this degree, you want to do this business. Don't deliberate on it too long. Take the risk and take it as quickly as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's one huge advice I would say I would give to my younger self.
Yeah.
Um, I
But
could give an example. Yeah, yeah, go
mm.
ahead.
No. Please do give an example.
I would say like when I got coming to Aberdeen, coming to Aberdeen after my undergraduate days, I came to Aberdeen as a master's student, right? But coming to Aberdeen took me about maybe 5 years, after my undergraduate, because I kept thinking about it and pushing it and doing jobs that I wasn't really satisfied with, right?
Yeah.
And if I didn't deliberate on it, if I had taken the risks earlier, I would have come earlier and I would have probably started my career earlier. You get what I mean?
Yes.
So I would say the biggest advice I would give is, take risk and take it real quickly. Don't deliberate on stuff too much. The quicker you fail, the better you can see your results and know what outcomes that are available to you, really.